The San Francisco 49ers offense cooks while the defense stumbles en route to the 49ers win against the Tennessee Titans 37-24, marking their fourth straight victory. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Behind the Back podcast, 49ers postgame edition. 49ers once again find a way to get a win. This one coming out of the bye off of 2 weeks of rest and an advantage of being able to plan for a team for 2 weeks. And they did a lot of what I expected them to in this game from a standpoint of just being a little more aggressive, a little more ready. So let's talk about the first half. 49ers offense was taking advantage of the young Titans secondary for the most part in that first half. Brock was 10 for 15 for 135 yards, 1 touchdown. George Kittle had 4 catches for 63 yards. He got cooking early. Ricky Pearsall, 3 catches for 32. A little bit of a scary moment at the very start of the game for the offense, for Ricky Pearsall particularly, who was tackled, and it was a hip drop tackle by Kevin Winston Jr. It was a little worrisome because Ricky limped off the field again, first play of the game. Ended up being an ankle. He did return. We'll talk about him more, but later on in the game, he did sustain a knee injury, and that kept him out. It was basically at the end of the game, but his spirits were up. He was looking okay after, the game was over. He was smiling, but we'll see kind of how that looks if it's the same PCL injury that Kyle Shanahan kind of highlighted in his post-game presser. But really good first half for Ricky Pearsall. And Demarcus Robinson, 2 catches for 36 yards, big and timely plays from all those guys. And the 49ers going 7 for 8 on third down in the first half was a large reason why they were able to take a comfortable lead going into halftime. The defense was okay. They allowed 1 touchdown, 1 field goal, a forced punt to start the game, which was really good. But aside from a couple good plays from D. Winters and Curtis Robinson, Malik Mustafa had a missed opportunity in there for an interception, but it was a relatively straightforward half for the 49ers defense, albeit a good one compared to how the fourth quarter went for this defense. And I'll talk about that here in a second. But a little bit of a frustrating end to the first half when Eddie Piñeiro went to kick off with about a minute left in the first half, and the ball tipped over, whether due to wind or a poor setup or whatever the case may be. Normally the official is supposed to see that. He blows it dead, you reset it, and you kick off again. But that didn't happen. It was unreviewable. It's not one that you can go back and look at and decide to come back, anything like that. So you kind of had to eat it. It goes out of bounds. They start at the 40, good field position, and 49ers, they got lucky. Tennessee missed a field goal to end the half, and they kept their lead. But it was frustrating end to it. The defense was not doing a lot at the very end there to hold field position, but it's tough when the field position is already pretty favorable for the other team. So moving on to the second half, 49ers come out swinging. Good play on first down to Christian McCaffrey, breaks the tackle, runs for the first. Big play first down to Ricky Pearsall for 38-yard pickup. Purdy on second down evades pressure, rolls to his right, and delivers an absolute dot to Juwan Jennings for their second touchdown on the day together. Turn around, the defense forces a 3-and-out. So in that third quarter, you start off second half just again with another slap to the face in Tennessee. You did it in the first half, you do it again in the second half, and this was where the 49ers really got some of that momentum. They also took a bit of a advantage from a sense of just feeling a little more in control of this game. Later on, Purdy gets his longest run of his career, 26 yards. He punk fakes Cody Barton, both laugh it off. Purdy ends up throwing a touchdown to Kittle on that drive. The 49ers are rolling. I mean, third quarter, Niners don't allow a single first down. They outscore Tennessee 14-0, and Purdy's out here Dougieing again. I mean, vibes were up. Third quarter was great. Fourth quarter was where this got interesting. So Purdy drops back, goes to throw. He's strip sack. I don't know if it was really a strip sack or if the ball was coming forward. You can argue it either way, but it ultimately ended up being a strip sack. Tennessee gets the ball, immediately take a deep shot to Van Jefferson, who comes down with an incredible catch, injures his back doing so, but nonetheless an incredible catch. Sets up Tennessee at the 1-yard line. They cap it off with a touchdown. Next drive, 2 false starts on the 49ers after resetting themselves on the Tennessee 40. pushed them to 3rd and 15, converted. Eddie Pinheiro misses a field goal, but Jeffrey Simmons contacts the long snapper and called for a personal foul. 49ers move up for a first down. Another penalty on Dom Puni, called for holding. It pushes us to 2nd and 20, and the 49ers are limited to a field goal on that drive. So it was a frustrating drive from the sense of, you were able to get the yards back initially. You set yourself up back on the 40 where, Brock Purdy had turned that ball over originally. But these penalties, 3 penalties on one drive, it was undisciplined. The 49ers were not playing a clean start to that fourth quarter. And then, just down the stretch, the 49ers defensively from there were really struggling to stop Cam Ward in this offense. So overall, 49ers offensively, they put up 37 points. Pass game was really good. Ricky Pearsall looked great, even after getting banged up on the first play of the game. Banged up later on a big 3rd down completion that really iced the game. George Kittle had a fantastic game. Juwan Jennings, great game. 2 touchdowns on 3 catches. 3rd down efficiency was excellent for the 49ers. They were 9 of 15 throughout the game. The first 5 drives of the game were points. 4 touchdowns, 1 field goal. 2 of those were scripted, first half, second half. But just being able to go out there consistently, not have to punt at all in the game, and put points on every single drive, it puts the pressure on that opposing team's offense, whoever it is. And in this case, it's Tennessee, an offense that, while they found success today, just could not keep up with the 49ers' success through the air offensively. So I love what I saw from the offense. Now the defense, there's a lot to be tightened up. I'll call it how it is. Like, if this is a better team, potentially the 49ers defense plays better. You got to kind of consider you're playing down to your opponent, or maybe you're playing up to your opponent. We've seen good games from the defense this year, but in this game, there's a lot to be tightened up. Cam Ward cooked the Niners D-line with his legs. He was extending plays extremely well. That secondary for the 49ers was getting cooked all day long as well. So they allowed a lot of big plays through the air. Did have some good moments, specifically at the start of both halves with the 3 and outs, and really taking advantage of gaining momentum, right? But the missed opportunity from Malik Mustafa at halftime, just other opportunities where the 49ers could have, kind of tightened up and gotten the Titans off the field, they didn't quite do. So ultimately, I can't be too upset. It was a win, right? And a win is a win. You're 10-4. 49ers are deep in the playoff run right now, looking good. Their chances look even better now. But if you look around them, the Rams won today against the Lions. The Seahawks beat the Colts and 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. While he looked really good, we're going to be talking about him this week because the 49ers go to Indianapolis to play the Colts on Monday Night Football next week. So stay tuned for that breakdown later this week. But you find a way to win. And that's the important thing right now, this late stage in the season. So let's get in the game balls here. First one is going to go to Brock Purdy. Extended plays well all game long, kept a ton of drives alive with his legs and with his arm. He was very efficient on the day. He ended 23 of 30 through the air, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, had the strip sack fumble, but aside from that, overall a really good game from Brock Purdy. And, just like I said, extending plays, making sure his team was in position to win at any given point. He wasn't a reason why, and he wasn't going to be a reason why the 49ers were going to lose this game. So I love what I saw from Brock. Again, bouncing back, stacking 2 good games. Second game ball is going to go to Ricky Pearsall. Really good game from Ricky. And when he's out there, when he's available, he's healthy and he's good to go, he looks fantastic. I mean, he cooked that Titans secondary multiple times. He had 6 catches for 96 yards, averages 16 yards per catch. No touchdowns in this one, but he had some banger plays where it was timely. He needed to have those. We need to have those first downs. We need to have him call on those moments and really step up, and he did that. And just being able to play on that ankle that started at the very, very beginning of the game and finish it out all the way through the end for the most part. I really love what I saw from Ricky Pearsall and the budding star that we're kind of seeing from him. Last game ball is going to go to George Kittle. I mean, George is fantastic. 8 catches for 88 yards, 1 touchdown on the day. Really, again, timely plays. He was a great option through the air for Brock in this game. He was the leader in receptions for the game for the 49ers with that 8 catches. And really love what I saw from George Kittle. As far as the injuries are concerned, now Jordan Elliott in pregame sustained a knee injury at some point during his warm-ups. He didn't play at all. So that's another hit to your defensive line. Chase Lucas had a stinger. He did come back in, but he took that on the very first play of the game. I honestly thought that it was going to be a broken wrist, the way his wrist kind of folded underneath him. But it was rolled a stinger. You ended up coming back in. Seems like he's good to go. Ricky had the ankle, returned knee, finished it out with that catch, but ended up getting injured on that play. He ended the game without playing another snap from there. And Spencer Buford had an ankle injury. He did return. But, the 49ers every week are going to be injured. They're going to continue to be one of those teams where they're going to be swapping guys in and out from positions, and that's kind of how this season's going to go. This idea that we're going to get through a week with fully healthy this late in the season, just in general, from an NFL team standpoint, is hard to do because you're getting banged up as the season progresses. You're deep in the season at this point. You're in the final stretches here before the playoffs start. I mean, things are stacking up. And when you look around the NFL just today, Patty Mahomes sustaining an ACL injury out the rest of the year and going into next year. Micah Parsons sustaining an ACL injury out this year and going into next year. So, this is the time of year where your bodies, for a lot of these guys, a lot of this stuff starts to kind of add up. And, to think that the 49ers would get through a week right now completely healthy is far-fetched. But ultimately, you look at this list, Jordan Elliott, Chase, Ricky, Spencer Buford, and you look at the guys that came back in and you feel pretty good about the 49ers from the injury standpoint. So 49ers are going to get an extra day of rest. They play Monday Night Football against the Colts in Indianapolis, like I said. And so Marcos and I are going to break that game down later this week. You'll see that episode on Thursday. I'm excited to talk about it. I will not be doing a post game for that game next week. I will be in Tennessee visiting my parents, seeing my family for the Christmas season. And, I'm just going to be enjoying that and taking that time in with them. I haven't seen them in a while. So I'm going to be enjoying that. I am going to see that game. And, I might post something out there as far as some, things I liked or maybe didn't like from that game. So if you don't follow us on social media, go ahead and do so. All of our links are down below, guys. And you can stay up to date with kind of my thoughts on the game. But we're going to wrap this one up here. Ultimately, a win is a win. I mean, we're in week 15. You got to stack wins right now. The rest of your division won today, exception to the Cardinals, but they're just not a winning team right now. But the Rams won, the Seahawks won. So the 49ers, they had to win this game. And this was a game against Tennessee where, you were 13.5-point favorites. Didn't cover. It was 13 points on the dot. This was one of those games though where you needed to have it and you needed to get it in a convincing fashion. It was similar to the Eagles, but for a completely different reason. Because there's still some unknowns with this 49ers team as far as how far can they go if they see, another Rams team, or what this matchup against the Seahawks week 18 is going to look like now that you don't have a Fred Warner or a Nick Bosa. And so, there's just a lot of questions to end the season. So you're setting yourself up, you're positioning yourself well. If you look at next week, next Sunday, the Seahawks and the Rams play each other. The loser of that is going to drop back to 6th. So the 49ers, as long as they stay winning, if they find a way to get the job done next week against the Colts, they're going to be the 5th seed. So a lot is going to be moving around. They sustained the 6th seed this week, did a really good job. You got the win. The rest of the NFC is still wide open. And you've got to dance with the Bears. You've got to dance with the Seahawks at the end of it. So this is the time where the 49ers need to really lock in. They're on a 4-game winning streak, but this was the last easy team you're going to play all season long. And that includes playoffs, if you make it, how far you make it, so on and so forth. So really good to see the win, guys. But again, not going to be here next week for the post game. So again, give us a follow. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Stay up to date with everything. All right, guys. I appreciate you as always. I've been Benny the Jet Rets. Peace and love. I'll see you next week. Peace.